am Dr. D. Mohammad Rafi, Associate Professor, Department of Cybersecurity at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, I want to discuss about network programming and management subject, in which topic is SNMPv2 and SNMPv3. Simple Network Message Protocol V2, Simple Network Message Protocol V3. These two protocols are the enhanced version of the SNMP. Here, SNMPv2. First, if you discuss the SNMPv2, Simple Network Message Protocol version 2, it is the enhanced version of the SNMP protocol, Simple Network Message Protocol, generally which is used at the application layer level. Here this enhancement can be used at application layer level only. Application layer level only. So these protocols, SNMP and its versions can be used. SNMPv2, if we take this SNMPv2 enhancement version, the objectives are now which is enhance the performance. These are the protocol, whatever the protocol we are taking, SNMPv2. So this the protocol now which is increased the performance comparing than the SNMP protocol. Here is the efficiency of the network management operations can be improved. The performance now can be improved by improving in terms of the accuracy, efficiency, scalability, and by improving reliability. Here, by increasing all these the accuracy of the network management operations, whatever the operations now we are going to monitoring, now that operations improving the accuracy of the network operations, and scalability also we are improving the scalability of the operations, the devices monitoring, and reliability by monitoring the other devices between the two systems. Whatever the devices are arranged between the two systems, by monitoring the all these other devices, now we can improve the efficiency and we can improve the performance of the network. Here is it is a extended functionality. Next objective is a extended functionality. So extended functionality means here now. So it is extended functionality what it is do, which is providing the additional features. Here is which is providing the additional features for better management and monitoring the features. Whatever the features now we are utilizing in a network, the performance that can be monitored effectively. That is now we are going to extending the features. This is the main objective of the SNMPv2. Improve the error handling. So if any errors are arised between the source and destination, here, so the network now we are going to using the network. This is the network now, routers, switches or hubs. So routers we are using, switches we are using, and hubs we are using. So any errors are arised, now we are handling the errors and improving the error handling. So rectifying those other errors and improve the error handling, and detectiveness and correctiveness can be improved. Security improvements, more security while transmitting with help of this version SNMPv2 version protocol, comparing then the SNMP and SNMPv1. Here we are providing the more the security, whatever the data we are going to transferring from source to other destination, whatever the data packets now we are going to transferring from source to other destination. Here these are the data, these data packets efficiency can be improved, security can be improved. That is a basic security, the enhancement over the SNMP V1. The features of these SNMP V2 and SNMP V3 now we take in SNMP, comparing then the SNMP V1 and SNMP. Here the data, the bulk amount of data can be transferred, which allow for the transferring of the large amount of the other data. Now we can able to transfer the bulk amount of data, can able to the transferred comparing then the, so this SNMP V1 and SNMP protocols. Here is these inform the request. That means inform request, the feature what it is doing now, which is enabling the other devices. So which enabling the other devices means here generally we are taking the client and server. Client device, here the devices generally we are taking the client device and another device is a server device. Client and server other device. That means here these are the client and server that can be enabled. After enabling these are the client and server now, which is sending the information. So with the help of the synchronized the notifications to the management system. Here is expanded error code. The expanded error code means now which is providing the more detailed errors. Now which is reporting to the troubleshooting. If is there any trouble in this other troubleshooting, now we can rectify the errors. The codes, whatever this error code now which is expanded, finding and detecting the errors in a router or in a switches or in a hub or in a data transmitting, whatever the packets now we are transmitting from the source device to the destination device, whatever the data packets now we are going to transmitting. Here is the data packets we are going to transmitting. Now we are rectifying the errors. That means expanding the error code. Whereas where the errors are, where the problem is arised, now that can be identified. Whether in a router the problem is arised or the protocol the problem is arised. Here in hub the problem is arised or over in a network the problem is arised, that can be rectified. Reporting the errors and troubleshooting. So all these other things can be identified. So with help of the troubleshooting and community based security. Community based the security means now which is similar to the SNMP V1, but with a more minor the enhancement. Now this is the community based the protocols, that is SNMP V1. Generally we are saying the community based the protocol. So with this community based the protocols now we are improving the enhancement. The service can be improved. Here this is about the community based the protocols and practical issues. Generally in SNMP V2 and SNMP V3, what are the practical issues will be arised. Here the practical issues generally we are considering in terms of the security limitations and inconsistency adaptations or the complexity. So in terms of these limitations, adaptations and complexity, the security issues will be arise while transmitting the data from source to other destination. Here is security limitations. Now if you take SNMP V2, this is the version of the protocol now which providing the more the security. So is still relatively a basic improvement. Here is inconsistent adaptations. That means here variations in a implementation by different vendors, different other vendors that can lead to the interoperability issues, internal operation issues. So that is a inconsistent adaptations, or so that can be the variations in implementations by the different other vendors. When it is arise means here internal operations. If any issues are arise in a internal operations between the two device over the networking, so generally these adaptations can be considered. Complexity. The complexity means here, so increased the functionality can result in a higher complexity in configurations and management. In terms of the configurations and management, so that can be increased the functionality, which is affect the result. Here is SNMPv3. SNMPv3, that means objectives. The objectives are the robust the security and enhanced usability, interoperability. Here these are all the objectives. The robust the security means which is the providing the comprehensive security features. These are the security features, whatever the security features we are providing, which is protecting the data and the packets and whatever the operations we are going to performing. Data loss, suppose if it is data loss is happened, that packets can be removed. Some the different the operations, that means the functional operations, send the functions and receive functions, different types of the operations can be performed. Here these are all the, so which provide the robust security. In SNMPv3 here, which enhance the usability. Enhancing usability means which is simplifying the use and management of the protocol. That means here SNMPv3 protocol which is manage the data transmission. Whatever the data we are going to transmitting, whatever the data we are going to transmitting between the two devices, so it will be managed. Now the data transmission here, the packet transmission, so it will be managed and monitored. If is there any errors, so that can be rectified. That means once if it is errors are rectified, automatically the data usability and transferability can be improved over the internet. Interoperability. Now if you take the interoperability, this interoperability which ensures the seamless other operations across the different network other devices. Here different network other devices which is improved and management other systems. So this is about the interoperability. Here is authentication and privacy. The features of the SNMPv3. Authentication based on the authorization the privacy here we are providing the privacy of the data. Whatever the data we are going to transmitting, so the data can be accessed only the authenticated persons. That should be provide the privacy for the data. Here how we are going to providing the authentication means here, that means by using the encryption technology. With help of this encryption technology, we can provide the authenticate. That means here the authenticated, with help of this the technology only, the users, the authenticated users only access the data. Whatever the data we are going to transferring, that the transparency of the data, that information, the security data can be accessed only the authenticated persons only. And here by using this the authentication and privacy, use of this user-based security model which ensures the authentication, encryptions and data integrity. Here is access control is another feature of the SNMPv3. Here is the access control means view-based access control. Here is view-based access control, that is a VACM, which is defined the access policies. If the based on these are the policies, based on these are the conditions the server or clients or any host can be accessing the data from one device to another device. The data transmission can be done some other policies that can be define the access policies. So that will be considered in a view-based access control model. With help of this view-based control model only, now this is a model that can be specified. Message integrity. Message integrity means now, which is integrity, this message integrity, what it is doing now, which is providing the, with help of this now, we are providing the high security and protecting the data from the attackers. Attackers are unauthorized users are from third other parties now, we are protecting the data. That is which is message integrity now, which is the protecting from the unauthorized users. That means now simply we can say it as a hackers. Why? Because now unauthorized users, what they will do means now they can change the information. That is middle man. My example is a man in the middle of the attacks. Authentication. Authentication is the next feature. That means authentication means the source can be utilized to only the legitimate users. Authorized users, they only authentication here, meaning is legitimate users only can access the data, can access the source of the data. Encryption, it is nothing but here, it is a security technology, security mechanism. With help of the security mechanism, the data, whatever the source of data now we are transmitting, so that is converted into unknown form. So converting into unknown form is called as the encryptions. So that ensures that the message, the contents are not readable by the unauthorized entities. So this is the encryption. Practical issues in SNMPv3 are, now the practical issues are increased the complexity. That means now which is enhance the security, the functionality that come with the higher the complexity in configurations and management. The performance overhead. The performance overhead means here security features can introduce the additional processing overhead. So implementation variations, the practical issues. Here is the different interpretations and implementations by the vendors. They can still cause the internal operation issues. That is the implementation variations. Now we can say it as main the differences here. Now the comparisons. Now if you observe in SNMPv1, SNMPv2, SNMPv3, here the feature and the aspects are releasing. Here SNMPv1 is released, developed in 1988. SNMPv2 protocol is released in 1993. SNMPv3 is released in 1998. So the primarily focused, these are the protocol basic network management. Here mainly it is focusing the basic network management. And SNMPv2 protocol now, which is enhance the performance and the functionality can be enhanced. SNMPv3, what it is doing means now, which is robust to the security and the comprehensive management can be improved. Mainly it is the focus on robust, providing the more other security. Here is the, in terms of the security, it is SNMPv1 is a community based protocol. That means the plain text, which can plain text, whatever the plain text which is applicable here, we are providing the more security on a plain text. It is also community based protocol. That is whatever the plain text now we are transferring from source to other destination. Now we will provide the more other security. But SNMPv3 is a user based security model. That is USM, that is encryption and authentication. So comparing these two, SNMPv1, SNMPv2, SNMPv3 which providing the more other security comparing than the SNMPv1 and SNMPv2. It is an enhancement version for all the SNMP versions. It is a more user friendly security and user friendly security model, SNMPv3. Error handling, it is error can be handled in all SNMP V1, V2, V3. Effectively, we can handle the errors. And limited here. So comparing in error handling here, limited errors in SNMP V1, the limited errors can be handled, but expanding the error code, comparing than these SNMP V1, more errors can be handled here. Comparing in the SNMP V2, here in SNMP V3, more errors can be handled comparing than these two, V1 and V2. And detailed, the explanation can be given by V3, the protocol, SNMPv3 version protocol. Detailed error handling can be done, whatever the explanation will be provided very effectively. Bulk, in terms of the bulk data transparency, SNMPv1, which is not supported for the bulk data transparency. So which is supporting the bulk data transparency. Here also supported, but get the bulk data. In terms of the asynchronous notification, which are trap the messages, and which trap and inform the messages. Here also it is also trapping the messages and informing the messages to both source and other destination. In terms of this authentication, in the aspect of the authentication, here community strings. Now strings can be communicated between the source and the destination. Here also, thus in the form of the strings, the data can be transferred in the form of the strings also. And it is a user based. In SNMPv3, it is a user based with a strong authentication. User based with strong authentication can be provided. And encryption. Encryption here now, less security. In SNMPv1, SNMPv2, less security. Now we are not providing the encryption, the concept. That's why these two are the very less security in terms of security. And here we are providing the high privacy and more the security, which is supported for the encryption the technology and decryption technology also, SNMPv3. That's why nowadays now we are utilizing SNMPv3 for transferring the data from source to the destination. Access control or the basic access control, general and view-based access control model can be utilized in SNMPv3. Interoperability. Interoperability, that means here high, very high. Interoperability is a very high in SNMPv1. And SNMPv2, the moderate. Interoperability is moderate. Some inconsistencies will be arised. In SNMPv3 here, very high standard interoperations can be used between the source and destination. So whatever the operations now we are performing between the source and the destination, that operations now high security operations. So on data packets, whatever the data packets now we are transferring, these are the data, the packets should provide the high the security and access. Message integrity, now we are not performing the message integrity in SNMPv1 and SNMPv2, but now we are performing the message integrity in SNMPv3. Next, scalability is very limited in SNMPv1. So scalability is improved, and comparing than SNMPv1, the more scalability. In SNMPv3 is a very high scalability. Why? Because it is a more secure. In terms of the complexity, very low complexity in SNMPv1 protocol. And in SNMPv2 protocol, the complexity is a very moderate. It is not low, it is not low, not high. Moderate. The complexity is very moderate. The complexity can be specified in terms of the big O notations. Here is SNMPv3. The complexity is very high. Why? Because the operations should be the very complicated operations we are performing, and more the security also we are performing. That's why the complexity is very high. Use cases now. Small to medium networks, small to medium network use cases, and medium to large networks. Here is the enterprise and security of the networks in SNMPv3 we are utilizing. general the key takeaways in this SNMPv1, V2 or here is it is suitable for the very smaller networks and less complexity networks with basic management needs and basic management operations. SNMPv3 now it is performance is enhanced comparing than SNMPv1. So that's why for moderate other networks now it can be utilized. Error handling can be done the better comparing with the SNMPv1 and also which is supporting for the bulk data other transfers. Bulk data transfers can be other done comparing the SNMPv1. SNMPv3 now which is provide the very robust security features which is including authentication and authorization, encryption the technology. So basic idea means now which enterprise the environment where security is very critical to the concern. The outcome of the SNMPv2 and SNMPv3 by learning this the topic now, the students can learn the significant the contributions to evaluation of the network management protocols. Here is SNMPv1 which lead the functional the framework. SNMPv2 which introduce the enhanced the performance in a networking, any networking, whether it is a private network or public network, enhance the functionality operations. Here SNMPv3 protocol now which is provide the more security, robust security comparing than the other protocols. Here the comprehensive management of the features can be considered. They are having improved the network the visibility and the efficiency, security and modern network the management the practices can be done. So these are the outcomes of the SNMPv2 and SNMPv3. Here the references for this the topic is William Starling, the book textbook reference book is William Starling, SNMPv2, SNMPv3 or MON 1 and 2. And web reference, these are the web reference books.google.co.in. So this is the number here, ISBN number. So this is the web references for this other topic. This is about the SNMPv2 and SNMPv3. So these two protocols are utilized over the network for providing the more secure. By utilizing these two other protocols now, secure the data, bulk amount of the data can be transferred from the one device to the another device over the networking. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.